Hey y'all, hey everybody. I'm excited to do this interview, this testimonial, man. I mean, I've been thinking about this for a while because the person I got on screen with me is Mike Morrisson, Mike CEO of Real Newbies, Real Newbies CEO, whatever you want to call it. One of my best clients, my favorite clients. I mean, Mike, talk to us. Tell us about yourself a little bit before I go into my spiel, because I got so much great things to say about you. So just give us a little bit about what you got going on.
Yeah.
I mean, Real Newbies CEO, Mike Morrisson.
First of all, I appreciate you having me. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the connection. Appreciate the networking. Appreciate all the business we've been able to do together. I can't say that enough. First of all, I am a person that got it out of the mud. That was one of the things that I understood was real estate was going to be the conduit for me changing the course of wealth for a generation in my life, right? So I always tell people we may not be able to enjoy it now, but I chose to be the one to build it for later. So with that being said, when I started Real Newbies, it was really centered on trying to help out some of my homeboys, trying to help out people that said, hey, look, man, I see what you're doing. Again, I didn't think what I was doing was special. They just saw what I was doing and they thought it was special and said, well, can you teach me? So because I didn't think it was anything special, I was beyond excited to say, look, let me just talk to you about what I'm doing. And they were a captivated audience, so to speak. And they did the things that I asked them to do. And I start seeing their growth. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. This information that I have and that I'm sharing, although I feel like it's common knowledge, it's not that common because the ease of access to information really isn't that easy, right? And I realized that you had people out here charging people 20 bands, 30 bands, 50 bands, all the way to 100, just to learn some concepts that I feel simplistic. And so with that being said, I had did my thing in real estate and I decided I wanted to teach people across the country.
Okay.
And that's what started Real Newbies.
And let me just add to that, how Mike just, explained what he does and how he got started. And that's how I came across Mike myself. Came in as a student of the stuff that you were teaching. Yeah. So that's what makes this whole thing, this whole dynamic exciting for me, because I see where we came from as our relationship and then where it's at now, where our relationship is now. Because I came in as a student and, I've been a student for a while, you teaching the game. And then I don't know how I did it, but you became a client.
Sure, yeah.
So you became a client, and
you had a good product. I mean, I'll be honest, like not to say how you did it, you had a good product. Like, and that's the thing. When a person recognizes a good product, I don't gotta be sold. That's just that. You don't gotta sell me. I'll sell myself once I realize you got a dope product. You ain't gotta sell me on that.
And I appreciate you selling. I appreciate you saying that, because let's go ahead and dig deep into it. So, Mike, like I said, I was a student, and then he's seen that I was working with virtual assistants. I had some virtual assistants on my team already. I think I had 7 when I had came to you, and then being your student, you were still trying to work with me on some of the nuances that I was having troubles in real estate. And you kind of helped me put in a workflow, to be able to efficiently and effectively handle my virtual assistants. And you didn't even have none at that time, but you just understand the concept of business and how understand the concept of workflow. I was able to apply that to what I had going on. And Mike was not new. He had already been acquainted to having VAs, like what we like to call them. And that's why I would say I kind of had to sell him a little bit. I feel like I had to sell you a little bit, because you did have kind of like I wouldn't say a bad experience, but with a previous VA that you had prior used, but it wasn't a successful experience.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
We were talking about that, go into about that kind of
Yeah.
not so great experience that you had with that other VA.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, so I had numerous, I guess, unfulfilling relationships with virtual assistants, right? And two that come to mind, and you know both of these stories. One was the first situation that I had, right? And you know, the dude, I mean, like I said, the guy was right, he was on it, so to speak.
Right.
But like he would always have this random stuff happen. And it's like, wait a minute. Like when I need you most, you say there's a tsunami. It's a, you know, you start getting used to the excuses, right? It's
they
like
got them typhoons every week.
Yeah, we got a typhoon. Yeah, correction. It's always typhoons, you know, in the Philippines, right? So there was a typhoon, and it was just like, oh, we got, you know, no internet service and this and that, and it's like, okay, cool. Long story short, I can, you know, natural disasters, right? Acts of God. I can forgive, right? Like I can deal with it.
Right.
But the straw that broke the camel's back was one time I'm talking to my man's on the phone, and I'm like, okay, yeah, give me a call. Because I try to hold my VAs accountable by being able to engage with them, right? So you could do Skype, you could do whatever. I use Discord personally.
Right.
And my man got on the phone. I'm like, hey, John. He sounded crazy different, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. This ain't John.
Right.
Then I'm like, yo, video chat me. My man, you know, like he disappeared on me, right? And then come to find out, he come clean. It was like, hey, it was my brother-in-law that stood in for me. Boom, boom. Okay. So that was lesson one, right? Like
lesson one, bad taste in your mouth. Yeah. They try to pull the bait and switch on you real quick.
Real quick. So you start realizing, okay, you got to be a little bit more vigilant, right? And so the days that I had really bad output, maybe that was the days he had his brother-in-law, or the days that he didn't show up and made up excuses was the day he couldn't get his brother-in-law to cover for him, right? Like you start putting, you know, two and two together. So my second experience was crazy, right? Brought this young cat in, and he was, man, when I say he was on it, that's when we was bringing in, you know, we recruiting hard to bring in Real Newbies students. And again, we sell our courses for, you know, back then it was actually $1,500 to get involved. The price is going up, right? So
yeah, by the time I got in, the price was already up.
So
it was before me.
Yeah. So back then it was $1,500 to get signed up, and he was on it. Like he was in every group. Boom, boom. He brought this young lady in. It was a smooth experience. I was like, wow, this dude out of the Philippines is a beast. He signed up somebody that paid me $1,500 for my course, and I'm paying him $5 an hour. You can't beat that. So out of the love, I'm gonna give you a bonus. So I gave him $150 bonus, you know, 10% bonus, and I never heard from him again. My man, he took that 150 and showed out. Yeah, he can't. He showed out.
Yeah.
And then you start realizing, like, the understanding the money that $150 for them is, you know, a month's worth of pay or 2 weeks, right? So if you get your bonus, sometimes people they roll out on you. So those are my two initial experiences that made me say, I don't know how much I trust the VA game. So yeah, that was me.
And so, you know, we had that conversation. So I didn't really want to. I was like, man, it might be a tough sell. And then I think you were kind of seeing how I was operating and how I was kind of moving around. And then one day it was like, hey, Charles, what's up with the VA? So you got the VAs like that, huh? So you keep them on deck like that. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, you want to come over to the dark side? I mean, I know you had a couple rough experiences. Mm-hmm. You're like, I might try y'all. I might see what y'all guys is working with over there. And so that for me was big to me, because based off the experience that you had, you still had an open mind to what I had going on.
Right.
And to see that I did have a lot of confusion, even with having so many working for me in particular, you helped out my workflow. So with you helping out my workflow, and this, I think this is big, and this is one of the things that you did great as I became more savant with this VA thing, right? Like I came more savvy with this VA thing. I think you were able to scale very well. And that was the thing about with the workflow that you helped me help apply to my business, what I had going on.
Right.
I had to scale back.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I scaled back, and then so I had all these VAs working for me, and I scaled back, and I felt like I done taught these VAs everything, you know, and I just can't let them just go to waste with the information that I had gave them. And then so that's what kind of sparked in my mind. Well, I have these extra VAs. I can get these to, like how you started with your homeboys, with your friends, with the people you know, right here in your immediate circle. Hey, I got these virtual assistants that know about real estate. You know, that everything I learned from a class in yours in particular, I was able to transfer that information or give them that information, that knowledge to the VAs to be able to help other clients be successful. And so I think you kind of seen how that was going on. And then so we connected, right? Yeah. And let's keep it all the way honest. The first VA that we got for you, it did not work out.
Yeah, because I'm a hard boss. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm a hard boss to work for just because I'm big on, and I could be jaded a bit, right? Like from my previous experience. And so I don't have these, look, I'm cool on the excuses, right? Like that's, you know, that's my thing because I don't make them. And shoot, I don't care if you got excuses. I'm sorry that your dad had to go to the hospital today. Like, I'm definitely not. I'm not that guy, right? I'm not that guy that's going to be like, I'm empathetic, but from a sense of, but you need 2 weeks off,
right?
You know, like that. I'm not that guy, right? So I was very skeptical. The first person I got, Phil, she came.
Oh yeah, Phil. I remember Phil.
She came in, and it was cool. Like when we first started, but she showed me some things, and you know, when she started working for me, she broke camp from smart money. And that's when I realized I couldn't deal with her because you only know me because of smart money. You don't know me because of me. You know me because of Charles and smart money. So when you start telling me, oh, boss, I don't have to do what they tell me to do, this and that, I'm like, nah, that's not how it works. They're your employer, not technically me, right? Like they're the conduit that introduced us. So if you're so quick to burn that bridge, you'll burn me quick. And it wasn't quick. It wasn't long after that. And you've been just a genuine person. You said, Mike, if you like Phil, keep her on. Keep her on. We'll step back and you'll take care of, you know, Mike, you're responsible for her at this point. And it wasn't long after that she started missing work. And again, I didn't want to truly do it, but okay, I already had her entrenched in my business. So I figured I'll give her a shot. And Charles was adamant about, you got to get rid of her since she's not doing her responsibilities with our company. You didn't force me to do that. You gave me the option and advised me on like, if she doing what she's supposed to do for you, just keep her on. Like, it doesn't cost us anything. Like, go ahead and keep her on, see what happens. And I really realized how important it was to have that liaison because she immediately started messing up. Typhoons were hitting every 2 days, and she was missing work. So that's
the big thing, not only that you trusting our service to be able to accommodate your needs, right? And then you tried the service, right? And we have replacement guarantees in place depending on what package you get with us. You have exclusive access to the VA pool, and you eventually
my personal favorite.
Your personal favorite feature, and we'll get to that, right? Yeah. We'll get to that. And like I said, I'm so thankful that you stuck with us even past Phil, because we gave you, like you said, we gave you the opportunity to like, hey, if she does what she what you need her to do, go ahead. We are having troubles on our end. We think that she's not, because that first month is a probationary period.
Yep.
And we felt like she did not successfully complete the probationary period. So
let me say this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably that's when I knew you had something with it. When you told me I was gonna give her, I was gonna do something. I was gonna give her a bonus.
It was a raise. It was the raise from the probationary period.
And you was like, nah, don't give her a raise. Because she hadn't really lived up to what she missed a couple of days of work. Like she hadn't really proved it yet. Like, yeah, keep her on the same, extend her probationary period.
Yep.
And we see where it goes from there. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. Like being in like me as a business owner, what I respect the most about you, Charles, is the fact that you can toe both lines. Like being a liaison is tough. Right. And the fact that you can give me guidance and say, hey, this is blah, 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 but also protect your VAs because technically you've interviewed them, you're bringing them in, you're responsible for them. Man, that's tough. And I've seen you navigate that just in my personal case, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, and the thing about it, I was like, hey, we got to let her go. And you was like, well, what does that look like? And that's part of the HR responsibilities of us, the liaison responsibilities. You didn't have to fire Bea. I mean, not Bea, but you didn't have to fire Phil. You didn't have to let her go. It wasn't awkward. It wasn't none of that, right? You told me like, hey, I signed up with your company, so whatever your company decides, I'm gonna trust that. And I'm like, well, she needs to be let go because she's been doing things that I feel is not going to help your business become more successful in the future. So you was like, okay, whatever you decide to do. We got rid of her, we replaced her immediately.
For sure.
It was almost seamlessly. And we had Bea come in. She's one of my favorite VAs. She has been down with us for a long time. And she's actually been down with you now for a long time because you still have her employed. So when Bea came in, how was that transition?
We got to be coming up on a year at this point. Like I think we got to be getting pretty close. It's crazy that you just said that. It just made me just think about it because I know last year we gave her the holidays off. So I'm like, we getting close to a year, which is crazy.
We're coming up close to a year, and Bea hasn't missed a day.
Bea don't miss work.
Right. Bea has not missed a day. She shows up on time. She's I know she keeps in contact with your staff and everybody on your team.
Yep.
She follows directions well. And I know you have high praises about Bea. Talk to Bea just real short, because I know you have Mike has grown with multiple VAs. So we only can talk about the VAs for a short period of time before we had to move on to the next situation that Mike has encountered with this VA situation.
For sure. I would say with Bea, it's been really cool because I don't have the best relationship with Bea. I'll just be real. Bea has a great relationship with my team, which is kind of what I wanted, right? Like, because I wanted Bea to do administrative tasks. So there's no need for me to have a great relationship with Bea. Just to be real, she needs to have a great relationship with my lead administrators, right? So everybody knows Nicole is my head administrator. So she got everything going. She lays it out. Her and Bea communicates. Her work gets sent to Nicole. Her and Nicole communicate every day. Nicole communicates to me. And it makes it easier because it's one less person that I have to be responsible for. I got to be responsible for my team. And not to make them sound devalued, but as it relates to my company, right?
Right.
They're more of an engine. They make stuff go from a standpoint of once you give them tasks, they get it going.
Right.
But when I'm having company meetings, my staff is there. Right. So I'm putting that responsibility on people that I pay directly as well. And I think that helps me because it's one less person I got to be responsible for, but I could also put that responsibility of their task, their day-to-day task, which I think is the biggest thing that people struggle with, is understanding that you may not be a person that's great at creating tasks for them to do. And man, believe it or not, sometimes it takes an employee to create the task. It's like create the task you don't want to do, right? Your administrative, like if you got an administrator, your lead administrative person, your lead assistant or what have you, hey, write down a whole list of tasks you hate doing.
That's pretty much it, right?
And that's literally what I did with Nicole, and she wrote those tasks down, and then Bear came in and made it happen.
She been there ever since.
She's been there ever since.
So okay, so like, all right, so this is a good part to segue into, because we just talked about Bea. Bea's locked in. She's comfortable. You got her in part-time just to kind of fill her out, which I thought was brilliant. You didn't. I see that problems happen with other clients. They like to scale too fast. But let's go to that part where you said one of the features that we have of the packages that you got, the exclusive accessibility to the VA pool.
Yeah.
So let me frame that real quick, and then I'll show how you utilize that.
Yeah.
So having access to the VA pool. So Mike has an administrator. Mike kept saying, "Man, I need me just a good cold caller." Just random. Not saying that he said it to me, but we're just in talking. And so, I'm always constantly doing interviews with VAs, trying to bring them on the team, seeing which ones would be a good fit, the strong VAs. And I think I called you immediately. Like, I got a video resume. I make the VAs do a video resume. And I heard this guy named John. Yeah. I heard his voice.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I got through the video resume before I sent you a text message and I said, "I got you somebody." And I just sent you fire emojis.
Oh yeah.
And then I think you hit me immediately. It's like, "Well, what you got going over there?" And I said, "I'm about to send it to you." And I don't even think you got through the whole video. And it was like, "Yeah, he's my guy. He's fire. When can I hire him? When can he start?" So tell me how important that was for you to have that exclusive activity, for me to bring that to you, right? Yeah. And John is still here to this day. So how exciting was that? Tell us that moment when I called you. How was that? And then now that you see that it did work out, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So man, John that was fire. So honestly, you hear these, I guess, deeper level of commitments that you can have with a company, right? You pay extra to get the extra service. Right. And I think just from a person that sells courses, right? A lot of people don't understand that the exclusivity is really the dope. Like, what I'm saying? At the end of the day, in my opinion, that's what I feel like. The exclusivity is really the dope. So if you put yourself in a position where, okay, you have this access to exclusivity, what does it mean, right? I'm paying such and such dollars to have this exclusive access. Most of the time you could convince yourself, man, shoot, I ain't about to pay this man another $2,500. Just being real. And that's not what the cost is right now.
Right.
Price is going up, bro. I promise you. The price got to go up, Charles, because it's crazy, right?
Right.
I'm just throwing numbers out there right now.
Right.
Just in case you want to raise the price tonight. But just to be real, I respect exclusivity because I know what that brings. Like, I knew instantly that when you hit me directly on, like, yo, you got to check this dude out. You want a guy that can speak perfect English, right? That's what I've been waiting on. You want a cold caller? Yes. I need somebody that can run these lists for me. Boom, boom. Man, the minute I listened to John's video, I said, please don't show this video to anybody else. Matter of fact, I think I put a bug on Charles' computer and erased everything to do with John. John does not exist at this time. Right. I was on Dave, right? Like, don't even tell nobody about John, right? And it was just like, yo, when I got him and when I had Bea, it really shifted the culture of my business because then I could replace myself. And so just to give you a peek behind the curtain of understanding just the theory of it, when I brought John in, he could replace me. When I brought Bea in, she could replace my administrative staff. Correct. So that's why I was so hype about John, because I'm like, now I can replace myself. I'm teaching him scripts because he can speak English really well. Yep. Plus, he had a sales background. So now I'm like, ooh, I could put him on, like you could put him on revenue generating activities, right? I call them RGAs, right?
Yep.
So I put him on RGAs because he could sound like he could speak the talk. He could talk the talk. And now I got him on RGAs because now he working the phones. He doing things that I used to have to do, taking care of sales. And man, that shifted the culture of my business, 100%.
And I think when you got John, I think Baya was for the, like you said, for your administrative side of your team. And I think you personally took on the challenge with John because I think you kind of curated him into like a sales guy like yourself.
Oh yeah.
I mean you're the way your business is run and how you do utilize your VAs. I mean, the ongoing training that you continue to make your VAs better and better each time. And John came out the gate. I mean, you did your training, and then first of all, let's be real. Like John was doing too much at the beginning.
John came out kind of hot, you know what I mean? Like John came out like, hey boss, like my man he got counters to everybody's objections, like he got everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, relax.
Yeah, you had to tell John to relax because John was excited to work for you. I mean, that energy that y'all fed each other. Yeah. And John was ready. John shows up for work, ready to run your whole entire business if you would let him. If you would let John.
Yeah, and if I could, right? If I could give a piece of advice to anybody in this space, it's understanding that you got to get them entrenched in your culture. And because once you teach them the culture, then you can give them a little bit of a leash, right? Because what happens is a lot of the VAs that are hungry, they're going to give you mad advice. And some of them have advice and they're scared to give you, right?
Right.
But then you got the alternative is they're going to give you mad advice, right? They know everything. But you as the boss, you have to entrench them into your culture. And I think one of the coolest things that I did with Baya and with John is introduce them to the Real Newbies culture. Yep. What do we really do? Yep. How many businesses does Mike really run? You see me as Real Newbies CEO, right? IG, Real Newbies, the website, and he just does courses. But then you realize, no, he does this for real. He's an investor for real.
Tech company, investor, management, you got students, consultant, coaching. Like you got a plethora of things that's under, what you got going on.
Yeah. So I'm telling them so when you on this bag, look, I'm gonna say the name. When you in my Offerly bag, right? That's our other company, right? That's where we buy our real estate at. You in the Offerly bag, that's different. You're in Momentum Consulting Group. That's different. You're in Momentum Property Group. That's different. Real Newbies, different. I got to introduce them to 4 companies, 4 cultures of each company. And I think you start there. Like you said expectations, but shoot, our expectations change from company to company. And I think that's the coolest thing that John and Baya are both able to grasp, bro. Like I can't say that enough. And did it require some heavy lifting? Charles would hit me. I'm gonna be honest. Hey, yo, you ready for you got everything ready for tomorrow? Like, cause it's like, hey man, don't be playing. Yep. Like, make sure you onboard them the right way. Charles is gonna onboard them, which I respect and I love. But then as a boss, you got to onboard them to your companies.
Yep.
Right? And let them know your expectation of each company. So, like I said, I preach this to this day. I'm a scaling guy, but I'm used to scaling off resources and scaling off money. And my VAs help me scale my business. And then y'all know, well, y'all might not know, but I do the math strategy, right?
Right.
So me talking about sourcing and sourcing out the stuff that I didn't want to do, that closed that circle for me.
Right.
Having the VAs come in, close that whole circle for how I view business personally. Mastery, automation, scaling, and sourcing. Having my VAs close that ring, and that was it.
And that's one of the things I hang my hat on with you. You are able to scale effectively, right? And when I mean by that, 4 hours. Stay diligent with the 4 hours of Bea. You slowly introduced her to tasks each week.
Yep.
Each week you was putting something new on her. Sometimes it wasn't even each week. It would be 2 weeks before you added something new. And they still don't even have access, and they're probably still not even used to the fullest capabilities because you're doing it right. You're scaling it right. You're not putting too much on your VAs to where they can't be efficient. They can't be effective. Mm-hmm. And so I think that was one of the smartest things when you were scaling. You scaled slowly. Bea, 4 hours. You started John, 4 hours. Okay, as time progressed, you were able to give John full time.
Yep.
And so because he's beating those phones down. So
and he's linked directly to revenue. And not saying Bea isn't, because when we have big months, everybody gets bonuses. Right? That's a fact. When we have a big month, I don't care if it's because of me or because of my local administrative staff. Everybody gets bonuses.
Because you got a fine oil machine over there.
It's like
everybody's got their part and pieces what they're doing.
It's like the NBA. A dude that jumped in the crowd, they get 2 minutes per game, but jumped into the crowd to save a ball that led to a bucket or prevented a turnover. Hey, you get a bonus.
Yeah, right.
Because you led to the overall championship.
Right.
You get a bonus. They get a ring too, right?
Right.
They get a ring too. If the Lakers win, but some dude off the 11th man off the bench saved the ball in a pivotal game and they win the chip, they get a ring. Yep. They get a ring. They get a ring. Yep. So we have to make sure we take care of our VAs too. Yep. They get a ring too. Now, the thankful thing is, once we start progressing our VAs, if you do it the right way, you make them specifically responsible for revenue generating activities. And now they got direct bonuses. Yep. And that's what the thing that happened with John as well as Bea. More so John than everything, because he took a lot of my role away, which I was very heavily invested in the revenue generate activities for our specific companies.
Right. And I think which helps us pivot on to the next situation, which I think you utilized again, the access to the VA pool, the exclusive access to the VA pool. So you got all your business. You got 4 or 5 businesses that you run in. And then so you wanted some exposure, right? You start thinking, and you're thinking, man, I got all these videos, I got all these YouTube.
I can't say I wanted it, but it had to happen.
It had to happen, right? Yeah. It had to happen. I think I planted the bug in your ear.
Yeah. You talked to me about it.
Yeah. So here you have all these videos and all these things, and you're making a transition to like, okay, I need to go into social media. I need to be posting things. I need to be doing all this. And so you said, I need a video editor. Yep. Okay. You mentioned it kind of, we talked about it. Hit you up. Man, I got this young bull, man. Hey, he's about 19. He know how to do this. He know how to do it. He's a referral from one of my other VAs. Matter of fact, it's her son. He's in college. He's doing this and doing that. I said, well, let me check him out. I checked him out. I said, well, hey, Mike, I think I got the solution to, the issue with those videos. I said, I got a video editor. He was like, okay, let me put him on a project first.
Can I correct your story really quick?
Yeah. Because my story might be slanted a little bit.
I'm gonna correct your story a little bit.
Okay.
I think when I correct it, it's gonna be even more. A business person understand this even more. Okay. When Charles said he had this thing, I'll be honest. When he had this thing or this exclusivity, right? I went off of it once, right? But I'm like, man, whatever. But I didn't realize how deep he thought into it. Okay, I'm just be real. He didn't tell me. He did tell me he had a young bull, but the way he said he had it was different than what he's saying. I'm gonna correct you. It's because his mom sent you a fire video, and you said, "Oh, right. Look at how good her videos are edited." And because Charles has these relationships, the real relationships, he asked, "Who edited your video?" She says her son. Charles does all these things, and I'm like, yo, let me see the video. I see the video. I'm like, oh, he do transitions, and for just some light work video, right? Charles has her doing a video to get more clients and blah, blah, blah. But Charles he took the extra step, and me as the exclusive, like having access to exclusivity. This guy is not even, he ain't even signed up yet.
He ain't even signed up.
He's like, you've been looking for a video editor, right? And I'm plugged in. Like, this is, when I say the epitome of, I forgot the word that they use, like, but when people put their homies, their friends, their close confidants in the best positions,
right?
The exclusivity got me that relationship that he would have gave to someone else. And that changed my business. Like, when I say from a standpoint of, well, I'll take that bit. The two initial VAs, Bea changed my administrative task and got my workflows on point and made me more efficient. John grew my ability to generate revenue and bring in Jan Rexy Rex, as I call him.
Yep.
Created the ability for me to be able to start building social capital. Like, 3 steps happened with me partnering with Charles and having my VAs on board. It took care of 3 levels of my business. And it was mainly because of the exclusivity, because most of my VAs, including Bea, because Bea was with somebody else first, right?
Yep.
So everything I got was because I'm an exclusive member.
Yep.
Just to be
so I'm glad that you pointed out that story, because now it jogged my memory back, because I remember watching the videos and her his mom, Jan Rex's mom, Gemma, she also is a VA that works for me, and her video stands out more than anybody. Yeah, and that's what it was. It's her video stood apart from all the other VAs videos, and that's how we were able to reach out with Jan Rex. And Jan Rex has been with you for 6 months now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Time be flying when you got these employees and you got work for them every day. They're editing, they're doing their work, they're working on the weekends for you. They're trying to pick up extra shifts. You're providing for that. You're giving them extra training. You gave Jan Rex extra training. And that's what I love about how you treat your VAs, because you always giving them extra training to be able to do their job effectively and beyond.
Jan Rex got a calendar. And the cool thing about what we do, Jan Rex just got off an hour ago.
Yep.
I know exactly where to look to get Jan Rex materials. What he did today is probably dropped between 3 and 5 videos. Shorts, right? Reels.
Right.
Like, all that stuff is right there. I know exactly where to look. I just got to press a button and everything he edited goes live. Or I can just write a little note and then he'll see that directly tomorrow. He'll make those changes probably within the first 30 minutes of his shift. I press play and that goes live. Shorts, reels, all short form content. And then he does long form content as well.
Right, your YouTube videos and stuff, right?
My YouTube long form. Man, you talk about just an amazing value add to my company. And it was overnight. It was literally overnight.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that. So all right, now I want to really get into, so we done laid out how you got the VAs, how they've been helping your business. And so the people want to know, how much money have they made you? Right? So you done had these people for a year. So let me break it down in 2 different ways, right? So how much money did they save you? And then I know you have John on some, and Bea sometimes on revenue generating activity. So I know Bea and Jan Rex would be more of like the saving you money side. Well,
let me just say this.
Okay, yeah, break it down. We want to know. How much money is you really getting?
Okay, I know where you're going with it, right? So I'm gonna talk about capital and then social capital, right? Jan Rex took over, and I'm gonna start with the low hanging fruit for me. Jan Rex took over my social media, and then boom, we immediately start getting, 2,000 views on our reels, right? We went from having 200 followers on IG to 100,000. Like, the relationships we're building, and no matter how you build it, he has to put you in a light to make people want to be around you. The only way you can do that, that's social media.
Right.
That's just a game of social media.
Right.
My presence on social media was cultivated and curated by Genrex. That's just a fact.
That is.
Same thing on YouTube. All my social media, my posts have been curated by Genrex. That's just a fact.
Yep.
So that has been huge.
The social. So that's the social part that you're talking about. The social equity, the social
right? Capital, social equity, eyes, follows, likes. Right. That's what I call them. You get eyes, follows, likes. You know, that's social capital. Right. But if you're smart, you could turn that into revenue. So Genrex took hold of that, and man, amazing.
Okay, so I stand corrected that Genrex didn't do anything revenue so-called generated activity because it just comes in a different
because the relationships I built because of that.
Yep.
And I ain't gonna start putting names out there.
Right.
But then
I see you rubbing shoulders. I see you rubbing elbows and you know what I mean? Rubbing elbows.
So you've seen it, and it wouldn't happen if I didn't have a social media presence. And before I had Genrex Rex, we didn't have one. We literally didn't have a social media presence because I didn't want one. So
you didn't need one.
I didn't need one, right? My revenue was coming.
You ran a business without having social media, and that's what people used to do. That's how you know somebody got a real business. Not saying that other people who don't have a real business that they use social media, but before there was social media, people had to have businesses, successful businesses without social media, and you were one of those people. So adding social media is just a bonus to something that you are already successful in real time outside of social media.
So you like, so once you start seeing that, like, and that's, I want to start with that one because I was the person that disrespected that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was the guy that said, I'm making blah, blah, blah a month.
Without social media.
Without social media. I'm cool on trying to impress these, you know, all this stuff. But what I realized,
you ain't dancing in the videos, and you ain't had to do none of that.
You know what I mean? So I start realizing, like, okay, cool. When Genrex created this social media, I guess the template for me for social media, and I could just press a button, and it's like me talking about stuff I like to talk about, and he made it look cool. Like that's what social media is really all about. What you do every day, but make it look cool. When he was able to do that, I start seeing those relationships change. And you start seeing, oh, this person with a blue check is following you. Now they DM me. Like Charles, no, I'm starting to get contacted without me. I'm not reaching out to them. They're contacting me.
Based off of what they see is being posted on your social media.
Based off of what they see.
From Genrex's videos, editing, your reels, videos, long, short. Nice.
I'm doing this. Oh, wow. Blah, blah, blah. So that's that one. I'm going to go to Baya next.
Okay.
Baya keeps my company running when I can't. That's just a fact. Baya keeps my company running when I can't. So when I'm working on deals that takes all my mental power, I can't do it. I can't do the running of the business of running Real Newbies and all the other companies we talked about. But the craziest thing I would say is one of the biggest deals that I did of the year made 165 grand. The person that put the list together and pulled it off of the platform and put it together and did the comps, we made $165,000 gross. Was Baya. How was Baya?
Say that one more time. What was the gross? 160 what? 160 what?
164 and some change. I like to call it even 165.
165. We're gonna round up a little bit.
We're gonna
round $165,000 deal. Closed. Deal funded. Everything. And you said Baya grab the list, put the list together, right? And I can go ahead and continue from there.
So Baya grabbed the list, put the list together. We ran an automation. It came in. Baya did the numbers. And then it came back to our team. Our team did the reaching out, getting everything going. We closed it out. And Yeah, Baya was on the front end of that deal for sure.
Baya, so we're talking about
because that was something I wouldn't have had time to do. I'll be honest. I'm gonna be real.
Right.
Like, let me just say this and be simple and plain, because y'all will hear me talking about this deal. I promise you, it's on YouTube. It's a lot.
Right.
So, and I never say that on these videos, so I'm gonna say it now.
Right.
I didn't have the time to do that shit. I'm gonna just be honest. I'm the boss. I ain't got time to be. I don't even know how to use Excel. Charles knows this. Like, he always laughs at me. I don't know how to use Excel, PowerPoint, a lot of other things.
Right.
I don't have time to do it. But Baya pulled that list down because you can't just print it out. You can't just download it. She had to manually do that.
Yep. Put the names, numbers in the spreadsheet. Go take it to another thing. Skip trace it. Then load it into the CRM. Then set the automations. And then once the automations come back, she's able to do the numbers for you.
Yep, she did the back-end numbers. Yep.
Wow.
And then my team took it from there. But you imagine we made 164 change, almost $165,000 on that deal. That most people, because of the time constraints, especially somebody like me that's running multiple business, you're not going to take the time to do all that up front and doing it multiple times. Because that was the deal that hit. But how many times did she really do it that day? 300 or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was just a needle in a haystack.
And you found the needle. She found the needle. She started with the
needle. That needle can net you a lot of money, right? So that's Baya. And so I want to go over the people, the individuals that people will say, well, you created John to just be you. So I'm showing you how Jan Rex and Baya have added so much value, but also so much revenue. Lastly is John.
Okay.
Daily, John brings me deals. I'm just gonna be real.
Money man John, my main man John.
He gonna bring me deals daily, and which I think is amazing because he's an extension of just kind of the rhetoric of what I do, whether it's from Real Newbies, whether it's from my investing side. He understands the rhetoric and how I like to talk to people. I mean, John, I'll be honest, John was working on a deal. John got somebody to sign up to talk with us about selling their property. John also got the person that was trying to sell to sign up for our conference to be an investor.
Right. That's John for you.
John for you. So when I say John is invaluable to my company as well, but I want to show them that social capital versus, they just do administrative tasks. I want you to show how those administrative tasks actually lead to revenue, because it's a lot of people want to separate those things and forget that you wouldn't have did that list. And I respect that Baya did that whole list. Okay. So, yeah.
So now he just went over all the money that they just generated and how they generated the social capital, actually real capital. Mm-hmm. And this is all done being on a salary of what's we're gonna put it out there. What's Baya's salary, what's John's salary, and what's Jan Rex's salary?
So Baya's part-time. Baya makes $80 a week. Jan Rex is part-time. He makes $80 a week. And John is full-time. He makes $160.
So we're talking about $80 a week, $80 a week, and $160 a week. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, y'all. And we're talking about $100,000 deals. We're talking about.
I made $250,000 in let me just throw that out. I made $250,000 in the first 2 months of the year.
First quarter, right? First 2 quarters?
No, just the first 2 months. But if you count the one deal that we did in Lumberton, all that stuff that they have responsibility for, you're talking closer to 3.
Yep. So
gross
$300,000 in the first 2 quarters on. So what's your monthly budget with 3 VAs?
Yeah.
2 part-time, 1 full-time. So we got 160. So that's 320. 320 a week.
Yep. 320 a week times 4. I mean, so you're talking about probably about close to $1,300.
$1,300 a month.
Yep.
And we just discussed work. So Mike is running a 6-figure business on the way to 7. On the way to 7. And when he's on his way to 7, does he need more VAs, or is he good where he's at? Only time will tell, because he's in a good position of how he's scaling. And we got 3 VAs who he says is a vital, intricate part to him being able to scale 300,000 within first 2 weeks. I mean, which was the first 2 weeks of the year, but the first 2 quarters of the year. That's phenomenal. And the thing about it, and I don't know if you heard that what he was saying, he would not have the time to do that. And with the company that we're consulting with Smart Money and Smart Money VAs, our main focus is to help our clients reclaim their time back. That is our main focus, is to reclaim our time back. And we also want our clients to have we try to put them in a situation of a better work-life integration. So when we close this out, right, so we just see how the business side has been able to scale, is moving in the right direction, and you did everything right. But like I just said, our second main focus after we reclaim your time back is a better work-life integration. So with adding the VAs on a personal level, not getting too deep in your personal life, right, but how has this affected your personal life on your road to personal freedom and financial freedom and scaling your business? What are some of the personal things that were directly affected that you might be able to do now?
Well, I'll be honest. I mean, shoot, you know me well. So, I mean, the biggest thing is being able to take the time with my kids more. And the biggest thing is coaching my son's team. Like, right. I was a guy that, man, I was always locked in, and my kids understood that because I made that clear. Right. I'm not out here running the streets. I'm not out here partying. I'm missing events. I'm missing sporting events. I'm missing stuff that's important. They're important to kids. Right. Yeah, but I'm doing it because you got the new J's. Right. I'm doing it because you wanted these exclusive shoes that only your dad can get. Right. But now I can teach them a step further that you don't have to risk it. You don't have to risk those valuable moments. You don't have to risk those. And I don't call it time. I call them moments. Right. Because time is time. We understand how time works. Right. But moments are important to other people. Time is just important to us. Moments are important to them. Yep. Right. That's a shared experience. And that's what happens with children and your wife. Those are moments. Time is just time. It's taken away. We don't get it. It sounds cool. You won't get time back. But understand that moments can be even more important because that time is just you. The moments is the person you could have spent that with. Right. And for me, those moments that I'm getting back now, for vacations, to me coaching my son's team, to me being at my daughter's cheerleading event, all these different things, those are the moments that I feel like I'm getting back now. Oh, more importantly, when the last flip, I brought my kids out and they got a chance to walk that property because I wasn't working, right? Like, because a lot of parts of my business was already working for me because of my VAs. We went to a baseball game. We stayed at a nice little situation, they stayed with me for 10 days. And it was cool. You know what I mean? Like, it was like those moments you can't get back. But in their mind, they're like, my dad's doing this big flip, but we here. Right. Like, because I don't have to be there every moment. But more importantly, I can put all my time into that. But everything else is still running because I got 3 other individuals doing that for me.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's big because what's the sense of having all the success if you chain to a desk? Like, like you cannot be making these cold calls. Calling these 1,000 people list, a list with 1,000 people on there. You don't have time to look up the information on Zillow, on PropStream, pull the link, run the numbers, doing all this. And so that personal freedom, that personal time in those moments is what I like. That's what I want to happen for my clients, right? Mm-hmm. That's the biggest part because I want them, like you said, you reclaim your time back. Now that you got your time back, now you're able to go experience those moments with your family.
Yep.
And that's a big thing. And then so now you got your work-life integration. I mean, it seems seamlessly now.
For sure.
I mean, you're not overworking. You're not having to, hey, well, I can't do this because I got to do this. No, everything's handled. Everything's smooth. And if there's an emergency, call me or call. Well, don't call me. Go through the proper channels.
Yeah.
Before it gets to me.
Right.
But yeah, you're able to move a lot more freely, and I'm happy that you're able to experience that. I'm happy that you're having the success. It makes me look good. I was nervous at first because I wanted it to be a big thing for you because I know you had an experience before, prior, and then with you having the success, you and I really am grateful for that. You open the doors to your students for my services.
For sure. Yeah.
So that was big because now, because I know you're not going to just put anything out there, on your students, because you want everybody to be successful and it has to be the right situation for your students. And we were able to do a collaborative deal, right? A partnership to be able to add to your course and to be able to utilize the services of my VAs. And that's been a big part of my business as well, being able for you to allow us to be able to provide the services to your students. And over here at Smart Money, I'm sure the VAs are greatly appreciated because, a lot of them have full-time work because of our partnership. And we greatly appreciate that from Smart Money and consulting with Smart Money. And we continue to, we wish you continued success moving forward. I know it's a done deal because I already know your plans. I talked with you about your plans and what you got moving forward. You've even took it a step forward, right? And because you understand the process of global resourcing and understanding that, when you outsource or when you outsource some of these tasks to these VAs in different countries in different parts of the world, you're able to get more bang for your buck. And I know you've been recently working with VAs from Bangladesh or some over there in those parts of the world. I mean, that just shows you understand global resourcing, which you said that as part of your mass strategy. Is part of scaling is going to the sourcing helps you scale. And so when you have the global, when you're talking about the world, you're pulling from the world of this talent pool. The talent pool is the world, is the globe, not just in the United States or not just in your town or your city or your state. So, man, that's man, I appreciate it. If you want to close this out, man, if there's anything that you like to say that we possibly left out, or if I tell the story right, I mean,
all that I can say is I'm appreciative and I'm grateful to work with Smart Money, and I would do it 1,000,000 times over. So I appreciate you for having me, Charles, and that's all that I can say. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Well, there you have it. I'm your boy Charles, but consulting with Smart Money. I got my main man Mike, Real Newbies CEO. Go check that out. Real Newbies online, Instagram, YouTube videos. He's talking all crazy, everything real estate, how to get money, wholesaling, subject to house hacking, fix and flips, all Bird method, everything. Real estate agents. I mean, he's crushing it. Top producing agent as well.
Right.
You see him closing $300,000 in the first 2 quarters. I mean, this is somebody to follow. This is somebody I would definitely recommend the course. I'm an actual student. I'm an actual student, and I didn't come in at that $1,500 mark. I mean, you ain't got no rebates, but I didn't get in that soon. But I think everything is worth it, and so we're going to close it out, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in.